Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where I will be doing another episode recap for today's Days of Our Lives, October 25th, 2024. So we see EJ and Fiona, right? So Fiona is in custody at the moment and EJ hands her over, a file to look over for a plea deal, right? So if she pleads guilty, she would get the same sentence that he offered Brady when he was in custody, which was 10 years rather than the lengthier sentence that she would have gotten, right? So she looked over it and of course she's not signing it because again, she believes she did not do wrong, so she's twisting it around to say she didn't confess to her son or Sarah or Brady. None of that really happened. So he's like, of course he's trying to spin it around and say like, I would rethink that plea deal if I were you, else you'd be, sitting in a jail cell for a lengthier time, right? So he's trying to like, intimidate her and all of that until, his biggest rival, Melinda, tries to come over. So Melinda comes in and said, listen, you need to stop railroading my client. And he's saying, how am I doing that? So she said, like, listen, the grand jury is going to make a mockery of your eyewitnesses because for one thing, Sarah and Brady, they've changed their stories over time. Brady is a well-known addict and Sarah has, the thing doesn't add up. So like it will be a laughing stock in court that day if you really bring this to trial. So if I were you, I would let my client go now, like immediately, expeditiously, right? So of course, EJ is feeling, like, oh my gosh, I'm just letting go people from left and right. So EJ, you're really not looking like a credible DA at this point. So of course he is hell-bent on keeping Fiona. It's like none of his people have been convicted as yet at this point. So he's just grasping at straws at this point. And Melinda is the only one that can really stand up to him and make him really like rethink what he's saying and quiver at his boots, right? So she has no fear at all standing up to EJ and how he behaves. She knows how to reel him in, but I really thought they were, amicable given that he saved her when they were in that whole thing with Connie. So I am surprised to see this, but I guess it's, business at the end of the day. So, I just have a feeling that this is going to go left and EJ yet again has to explain to Paulina how he let go another person out of his custody. So earlier, Melinda was at the Demare mansion to give Stefan his divorce papers to sign. And she did go over the terms with him that he would be retaining his businesses and Gabby will retain hers and she will get a, settlement sum and all of that. So she gave him the paper to sign. However, he was having second thoughts. Of course, he's having second thoughts because he really doesn't want to go through it and he still loves Gabby. But, they're just being stupid at this point. So she's saying, what's the holdup? Like, I thought you were ready for this. So he said, like, this is a marriage, not a timeshare thing. Like, just give me a few seconds. So she said, you should have thought about that before you let me draw up divorce papers, which I completely agree. Because if divorce is a big thing as well as marriage, if you really are second guessing, maybe you shouldn't be going through with it, right? You need to have some time before you make some choices based off of emotions and irrationality. But anyways, he did say, why are you rushing me? Is it because you want your shot with me? So I said, really, Stefan? You're really that full of yourself? So she said, I thought EJ was really full of it, but then I see you are even worse than EJ. So you know what? Take your time. Take all the time you need. Whether you're sanitary or not, I am out of here. My hours are still billable. So she just left him there. So once she was coming out, she runs into Kristen and she tells Kristen that, listen, your brother's in a foul mood, so just be aware of that. So she said, yeah, I am not really bothered by that because I am in a very great mood today. Do you have my paperwork? So she did give her paperwork for, I guess, the thing with Xander signing over Titan to her in exchange for the serum. So she said, I really don't know how you pull this out, but this is a major boost for you, for the company, and they're definitely looking forward to it all. So Kristen comes in and asks Stefan, why his face looked like that. And she said, is it because of this, impending divorce? So he said that he's not really sure if he wants to go through with it. And she said, like, I thought you were really certain. So you're really not over Gabby, are you? So he said, no, I still love her. And, I'm being very indecisive about this right now. So she said, listen, if you still love her, then you shouldn't be, if you're having second thoughts about this, you really shouldn't go with it. You really shouldn't go through with the divorce proceedings. I understand what it is to just, not get over an ex and having feelings for them still. So if you still have love for Gabby and all of that, then to hell with the divorce papers, tear them up and go fight for your wife. So we go to Rafe and Gabby, right? So Rafe and Gabby, they're sitting down. She brought him some breakfast, but he wasn't in the mood about that. And she said that you have to eat, doctor's orders. However, he was just not in the mood because he just got a family letter. So apparently their aunt died on their father's side, right? So their uncle's wife, uncle on the father's side, the wife died, right? So of course they were very fond of her. They're distraught, and they just feel like they have lost touch with that side of the family, and they just remember how they were close to her, and especially Rafe was like a son to her. So he's definitely feeling distraught about that. So Rafe actually got a gift in the box from their aunt, and it was a wedding ring, right? Her wedding ring. So she did leave a note as to use it for, a special lady he has been so unlucky in love. So she just hopes that he has the same kind of marriage that she and his uncle had. So it was a pretty sweet moment. So after that, they started to talk about Gabby's, marriage with Stefan, and, because they were raised how they were raised, marriage is a pretty sacred thing. So, he understands that Gabby thought that it would last forever with Stefan, and just, other things got in the way. So she said that, yeah, even though she put a time out on the marriage, she really didn't, want to go through with it. It's just that she couldn't get through with what he did to her, cheating on her with Ava, and then she had to hurt him by cheating on him with EJ. So it just didn't make anything right. So she's having second thoughts about it, and Rafe just hopes that things will work out how it should work out, right? So he leaves, and she begins to reminisce about her time with Stefan, just the fond moments, and Stefan is also reminiscing about that as well. So I did forget to mention that, after his talk with Kristen, he said that, what, I'm not going to sign the divorce papers. I'm going to fight for my wife. And at that point, some goons came over and, injected him with something. And I don't know what's the reason, but I guess we'll find out next week. So Gabby also got somebody at the door. We don't know who it is. There was some spoilers about some relative on the Hernandez side, but let's see. So anyways, we go to Xander and Justin. So Xander was on a phone call with Kristen, and they're supposed to meet up to exchange Titan for the serum. So Justin overheard the conversation, and he's saying, like, why would you sign over your legacy, your father's legacy, to a Demira, especially Kristen? So he said that you don't understand, Justin. I am doing it because I really want Sarah to walk again, and that's the only reason. So he understands the thought behind it, but he's just saying, it's really a big decision. Your father worked really hard for this, and now you're his son, and it just doesn't feel right. So he said that what matters to him mostly is just Sarah and her having the ability to have a long, fulfilling life. So Sarah overhears this and comes in and saying, like, maybe I can dissuade you from that. So Sarah saying, like, listen, I know that you want to help me and all of that, but I can't let you sign away what your father worked hard for. Like, this is your birthright. And he said that Victor only gave me this as a consolation prize because he couldn't tell me, when he was alive, that he loved me and that, I was his son and all of that. This is just to make up for that. So she said that, listen, he gave you this because he saw a lot of himself in you. So, he said, you're right. He does see a lot of me in him, but he would understand because if it was Maggie and it was a life and death situation, he would do anything, move heaven and earth for her. So she said, but I'm not dead, I'm still moving around. Thankfully, I'm here, I have my life, I can still get adjusted to this. So he said, like, I see you struggle a lot, and I really want you to have a longer, fulfilling life, just, to be able to be with our daughter, carry her to school, just do the day-to-day things that might be challenging for you right now. So she said, I want to do all of that, but I'm a doctor. Like, I see a lot of clients, patients go through that, and they still have fulfilling lives, so I can too. I really don't want you to sign away. This is also Victoria's birthright. So he said that, yeah, you are her birthright. Like, you are the one that, I'm doing it for her daughter, so that you can really, be present for her and all that. But I'm saying, Xander, that's a big decision to just sign away all of that, for, I get that. I get the sentiment behind it, but just the fact that that is your business, as something that has been worked for tooth and nail, and just to sign away like that to Kristen, there must be a way. Like, you have resources. This is not the end all and be all. You have so much resources at your fingertips to find the best neurologist, whoever, to help with your wife's condition. I don't think it should be the end all and be all with Kristen. I'm sorry. So Kristen walks in, and of course she's angry at her and said, like, how could you really do this? Your father would be so proud of you from the hollows of hell, right? So Kristen is like, I take that as a thank you and you're welcome. So yeah, she just, wheeled out of there. She doesn't want to be around Kristen. So more bad news for Sarah. She wheels out into the square. Well, she's at the square. She's surprised to see Fiona there having a martini. So Fiona at this point don't even give a crap who sees her with the alcohol in her hand. At this point, she don't care. She don't give no Fs. So Sarah's surprised to see her. She said, like, yeah, your mother-in-law is a free woman and all that. So I'll leave you guys with a clip.
Hello, Sarah. What are you doing out of jail? The DA dropped the charges. Your mother-in-law is now a free woman.
So let's get back to Kristen and Xander, right? So Kristen has the paper in hand for Xander to sign, and she gives him the vial. So she said, just like how she did with, I think it was with Brady for his stepmother and Kayla and Kate's condition years back. So she said, like, look, this is a first vial. In case it doesn't work, at least I have a contingency plan in case you go back on your word and I don't get the stocks and stuff transferred from Titan. So this serum has 2 trials and all of that. So he said, like, I thought this was a full thing. So she said, what if you go back on this? Like, I have to have some kind of thing in place. So anyways, he was ready to sign, and then Justin comes in, because I'm saying, like, something gotta give. So Xander says, you're not going to talk me out of this, Justin. We already been through this before. So he said, what if somebody else filed an injunction against Kristen getting the shares? So he's surprised, because he said, like, who would do that? What other family member would do that? So she said, is this a joke? So he said, like, I don't know nothing about this. So at this point, somebody else coming that was definitely a big surprise.
I am.
So Philip is back in town, guys. Like, I don't know what is the true reason why he filed an injunction. What's the motive behind that? Because last time we checked, he was in New York with Chloe. So I was really surprised to see him today, but I guess we'll find out next week why he's really there. But I'm really happy for that, because I really didn't want Xander to sign off everything that Victor's really worked hard for to his biggest competitors. Like, it doesn't make no sense. I get why he's doing it, and I get the sentiment behind it, but even Sarah is trying to stop him from doing that, right? But let us see what happened. Let me know in the comments what you thought about today's episode. Let's see what happens to Stefan next week. What was that all about? And also, what will be Xander's thoughts when he find out that his mother is actually free? Like, I'm, excited to see what happens with that. So don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend.